Hello, I'm Cathie, and I am one such person that Treena inspired. She introduced me to anarchism and activism, and she did it in a classic. All of you who know her know exactly how she would have gone about it. She would get up on a Saturday morning, and I'd be getting up late because I worked in a pub, and we had lock-ins, obviously. And she'd get up late, I'd get up late and sort of be coming out of the scratcher, and she'd be just out the door, and I'd say, "Oh, where are you off to?" And then she'd say, "I'm just going to the Israeli embassy." No more. She didn't launch into a lecture, she didn't evangelize or throw outrage, it wasn't wanted. If you were curious, she'd explain why she was going, where she was going. And if you wanted to know, she was happy to share it. But she didn't beat anyone over the head with her moral stances, as so many people are inclined to do. What I wanted to share, a lot of us know about her activism and we all know about her kindness, but yes, she switched me on. She casually said, "I'm going to these meetings on Thursday nights. We're organising a party. You might like to come." I said, "Okay." And I went along, and the party was Reclaim the Streets, and it was a huge protest, it turned out, and it totally politicised and radicalised a huge number of people in Ireland against our involvement in the invasion in Iraq. What stays with me is I was working nights, as I said, and she was working days. So she had been working with the homeless, and she'd take a break from that, and she was working in a pharmacy. And when we moved in together, we didn't know each other, and it could have continued that way. We used to joke that we might as well have only rented one bed, because we were tagging out. We barely met each other. Weeks went on, we barely knew each other. And I was going through a very messy time in my early 20s, figuring myself out and drinking heavily. One night I did something I won't repeat here, but I was very ashamed of myself. I overstepped the mark, and I woke up with this tremendous sense of self-loathing and self-judgment and shame. And I was so relieved when I remembered that she'd already organised to go away for the weekend, and she'd headed off to Achill Island over in the west. Now, when I woke up, I got out of bed, I went out to the living room, and there was a block of chocolate and a little note that just said, press play on deck B. And I'm going to sing the song that she left for me. Laughing about how ignorant we are. 10% of us is all that we know. The tip of the iceberg is burning us thus far. It's sucking my brain, and I'm sucking your toe. I've got some dead friends who live on inside me. I've got some living who are dying inside. How can you lie there in love and in agony? I want you, darling, to sleep well tonight. So please, treat yourself gently. Don't you go crazy, wondering what's in that 90%. 'Cause we can be foolish, passionate, childish. Please let us let go this grieving lament. So please, treat yourself gently. Don't you go crazy, wondering what's in that 90%. 'Cause we can be foolish, passionate, childish. Please let us let go this grieving lament. Lover, I know we are human, imperfect. Smell of our skin is a testimony. We are blood, we are sweat, we are sweet intellect. We're living and we'll die eventually. So please, treat yourself gently. Don't you go crazy, wondering what's in that 90%. 'Cause we can be foolish, passionate, childish. Please let us let go this grieving lament. Treat yourself gently, don't you go crazy, wondering what's in that 90%. 'Cause we can be foolish, passionate, childish. Please let us let go this grieving lament. There'll be a time to grieve and to lament. There'll be a time to grieve.
Of all of the stories that we've heard so far, and all of the stories that we will continue to hear about her activism and her compassion and her incredible acts and the things that she's done that most of us will take another lifetime to try and catch up with. The thing she was most proud of, her greatest achievement ever, was giving birth to a beautiful boy named Omar and making him into the beautiful young man that he is. And that, amongst all of this, she considered her greatest achievement. So here's Treena being his greatest achievement.
When you're in primary school, you can't wait to be one of the big kids. When you're in high school, you can't wait to graduate so you can travel the world. Once you graduate, you can't wait to climb the ranks of your job or start a family, and so on. This is a normal thing. Humans are curious about what the future brings by nature. However, sometimes we forget to cherish the simple moments happening around us. The moments when you're 7 years old, crawling between the warm sheets of your mother's bed after a bad dream, snuggling into the safety of her arms. Your mum driving you around to any event, location, or place you want to go. And they'll drive you there because they love and care so much. Heck, they would fly us to the moon if we wanted it enough. We forget to appreciate the moments when you're sick away from school, and your mum makes you breakfast, takes your temperature, and makes sure you feel alright. Mum's been the perfect mother our entire time together. This entire journey I've been through with Mum has been extremely difficult. All I've thought about is how unfair it is that I'm missing out on 30 or so years with my brave and loving mum. But I've realised that those 14 years were so special. In those 14 years, Mum accomplished more than some people fail to do so their whole life. That in those 14 years, the love and care you've given me is more to last a million lifetimes. Mum seemed to think she abandoned me due to the cancer taking her life early. I disagree. You can't abandon someone that you've tried to raise to become the best person they can be. You can't abandon someone if you've loved them so hard your very hearts become entwined forever. It's not abandoning someone when you fight with everything you've got against this evil cancer, throwing everything you have at it and more, putting 110% of your effort into fighting it. Of course, that's natural for Mum. She's been fighting the good fight her entire life. Fighting for mistreated kids, fighting for our world when little wouldn't against corrupt, egotistical politicians, fighting against mass murder weapons by making a loading machine inoperable that was going to carry uranium, and believing in your beliefs enough to refuse paying the fine to the mining company and going to jail for it. Fighting for the indigenous women in that jail that can't read or write and writing letters for them. Mum's been fighting her whole life, fighting for me, for you, and the world. And you can rest easy knowing that you've inspired many people to fight for what they believe in, especially me. I may be bigger now than the photos you'll see inside, but I'll always have a place in my heart where it's you and little me doing everything together with so much joy, just like we used to, and how we will after this life for all eternity. Mum was so loved, and I wish we could have spent eternity together, travelling the world as a happy family with Dad. Unfortunately, my dream won't happen. But just know that if I had to do this all again, or choose another person to be my mother, I'd choose to do this with Mum again. Because no one can replace you as the perfect mother. My perfect mother.
On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair and golden starlight in your eyes of blue. That is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close close to you. Just like me, they long to be close to you. Close to you. Close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair and golden starlight